Rich people love to use this strategy. It's called buy, borrow, die.
Mm-hmm.
So they buy these assets.
Do you like this strategy?
Do I like it? I think it's smart. Do I think it's ethical? No. But I also don't think it is on them to not use this strategy. I think it is on our legislators to make certain loopholes less easy to exploit. Because I feel like whatever system currently exists, everyone should be using it to the best of their ability to get what they want out of life.
Yes.
That is the only thing I can say.
So what is this strategy that the wealthy do different than?
So it's called buy, borrow, die. So regular people, they buy stuff. And they buy, if they're lucky, 75 years of stuff. And then they're like, I have stuff. Cool. You still like that stuff? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people, they go buy that shitty duplex I told you about. It's ugly. And they buy, something not that exciting. Maybe a full portfolio of index funds. Nothing that they can show on their Instagram. Okay. But they buy these assets. And what people don't realize is that the folks at the bottom, they work really, really hard to buy stuff. But before they can buy that stuff, the government takes a huge cut because that is income, that is earned income. So, if you're in the top tax bracket, that's like 30% effective, net effective. And then you probably have to pay state and local income taxes too. Average person, even so, you're still probably giving up about a third of it. Then you go buy your stuff. Rich people, they know that they are going to buy these assets, all right? And this is with money that they did have to pay that tax on, but they want to stop paying that tax as soon as possible. So what they do is they then build this asset portfolio that is monstrous, and then they borrow against it. Because guess what? Even if they sold some of their equities or their stocks, the max tax they would ever have to pay on it is 20. So you're already doing better than the third, but they're not even going to sell it. They are going to borrow against it because guess what? Debt is not counted as income. You don't get taxed on debt you take out. They use that debt and then they live their life. They get to do their fun things and they oftentimes get interest-only loans. So they're very small payments that you actually have to make back. You just keep the loan outstanding. They have more and more assets. Their assets continue to grow in value. The bank continues to lend them at a very, very low interest rate because they're so rich. And then the dying part, very key, okay? They have...
When you die, what happens?
When you die, this is why we talk about this in my book, Well Endowed. The estate plan is so, so key because what they do is they have this trust, okay? So this trust holds all the assets, and then that trust passes those things, those amazing money-making things, down to the next generation.
Tax-free?
Here's how it works. It is inherited at something called a stepped up basis, okay? So if you are my dad, okay? You buy something for $10. It appreciates to $1,000. You give it to me during your lifetime and I sell it. The gain on that sale is $990 and I have to pay taxes on that $990. But if I
give it to you when I die,
if you are already dead,
and then you inherit
and then I get it, the asset gets remarked to market.
What's that mean?
So the cost that I bought it at is the 1,000. So it's not the 10 that you actually bought it at. My purchase price is 1,000. So if I buy it at 1,000, because I inherited it from you at 1,000, and then I immediately sell it, what is the gain on that? Nothing. It looks like I made no money.
Wow.
I don't pay taxes on it. I pay off my papa's estate debt. It all gets done. And then I have this money. I have these assets that make money, and I'm going to borrow against them because I am your very, very rich daughter.
Wow.
And I've learned these things because the generational wealth is the generational knowledge.
Say that again?
The generational wealth is the generational knowledge.
Wow. So that's all about building a trust then and assets that are in that trust and then borrowing against it and never selling your assets.
Why would I sell my assets? I can take a loan.
Right.
I love loans. I love debt. Rich people love debt. It's crazy.
But I think, isn't there something around debt that scares a lot of people too, that they have to always, and what if there's a crash and you have to actually pay off all that debt at one point and you don't have the money? Then what? There's a fear around this anxiety of like, I've got all this debt and these payments. Can I pay them off?
That's why there's diversification because I'm not just holding an equities portfolio. I've got maybe some crypto in there. I've got maybe a real estate portfolio in there. I've got collectible art. I've got all of this other stuff in there. And these markets are more often than not indirectly correlated. When there is a market crash, oftentimes you'll see certain things of tangible value go up. So things like gold. Cryptocurrency is considered more like, you know, decentralized. So that actually performs better when the market's not doing as well. Collectibles of like rare art, jewelry,
Cards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those all do well when the market is down. So when one is down, the other is up. When the other's up, the other's down. But your portfolio over time continues to bloom.
And you're not buying stuff, you're buying assets.
Assets.
Wow.
Stuff and assets are very different. Stuff is the baseline model, like, you know, classic original recipe Birkin bag. Okay? So many people have them. You can literally find stores with 4 dozen of them in Japan on the secondary market.
Yeah.
Not special. What is an asset?
Something that's special.
An asset is the Tiffany blue, like, I can't even remember if it was the Patek Philippe or the, you know, Audemars Piguet, like, watch. I'm not a watch person. I'm not fancy enough to know all this. But, like, they made, like, 8 of them. There's only 8 of them in the world. You're going to tell me those are going to go down in value?
Right.
You're going to tell me that's not the holy grail for every big watch collector on earth?
Yeah. So you got married, what, 2 years ago or last year?
We got married a little over a year ago.
A little over a year ago. What are a few things that you learned about money after getting married that you wish you knew before?
Specifically, I would say about the wedding process is
it's way more expensive than you think.
It's way more expensive than you think. I was like nearly 3x my budget.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the hell? And it's, you know, I don't know if you've watched Legally Blonde.
The movie?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Of
course. Yeah.
So there's this scene where
Reese Witherspoon
is defending this, you know, Pilates, or like she's like a workout instructor in court. And she was like, I need an alibi. What were you doing that day? And she's like, I was getting liposuction.
Right.
And she's like, liposuction. And I feel like that when I talk about wedding budgeting, because I feel like such a fraud. Because I tell everyone like, oh, set a budget. I set a budget and I went past it. I blew past it twice. And I think the frustration is that like we realize that money is so much more emotional than we even gave it credit for. Like my husband and I have never fought about money because we have had an open line of communication about our finances so very early on. I lived in a roach infested apartment. I had to tell him how much I was making because I had to move out. I had to break my lease. I didn't have any money. Long story short, we talked about money probably 30 days into dating each other. Like from first date to 30 days in, I told him everything.
That's great.
We've never ever fought about money.
Wow.
But during the wedding planning process and agreeing to stuff, there were some tense moments, I will say, because I think for him, our wedding was like a climax moment to maybe show the world what he had accomplished. And for me, I don't know if I needed that. But I think there's a lot more ways for women to flex than there are men.
Sure.
So like, if you actually think about it, right? Like women, we can buy shoes, we can buy bags, we can buy clothes, we can, you know, do our hair nice, we can do our makeup. What is like something that men flex with?
Maybe a car or
maybe
watch
a car and
or
a watch.
Something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
House, I guess, if you bought a house, maybe.
You know what he tells me? He's like, well, I bought you a really big ring, and when I bring you around and people see how big your ring is, that is a flex for me.
It's true. Yeah,
so I think for him, there are so few moments in his life where he gets to celebrate. And so he wanted some big things.
Yeah.
Private fireworks. You got to pay a guy to go off on a little boat and like shoot stuff off. Like that's very expensive.
Yes.
Like this man is risking his life.
Yes.
And it is very expensive per minute that the fireworks are going off. They charge you by the minute.
Yeah.
He wanted, you know, the upper level food and the like 10-person band and the amazing quartet orchestra while he was walking with his mom down the aisle. He wanted all these things. And at a certain point I was like, you are so wasteful. I can't believe you want this. Like, why? And it wasn't until I realized that like he had never been able to celebrate all of his accomplishments in the way that I had, that I finally realized it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the wedding. It was about being able to say that like, I'm in a position in my life that I never thought possible. I want to celebrate with somebody who I've committed my entire life to.
Right.
And in part, we want to make sure that it's a memorable experience for all of the people we're asking to come halfway across the world to Italy to.
Sure.
And it wasn't until he explained it to me like that I was like, okay, well, now I feel bad. Now I feel like the dirtbag. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's, something that I give advice to everybody. And I say this in my book. When you are talking to your partner, one of the first conversations needs to be about money.
Yes.
Date one.
Yes.
Date one.
To know who you're getting into a relationship with.
Correct.
And we talked about this before, but do you think every couple that is going to get married should get a prenup?
Yeah.
You think every couple should get a prenup?
Yeah.
Why should women want a prenup and men want a prenup when getting married?
Because, and I will give you the same answer, and it has not changed. And in fact, I feel even more strongly about it because now I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust the government? Yes or no?
No, not fully.
Right,
no.
right.
I mean, maybe there's some things that are good, but other things I don't. Yeah.
I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're center.
Yeah.
You don't agree with everything our government does.
True.
Why would you let the government dictate how you and your partner go through the most challenging experience you will likely face together and then separate you two? Why?
Mm-hmm.
All a prenup is not you saying I don't trust my partner. It's saying I don't trust the government. I want to sit down with my boo on a sunny day, on a day when we still really like each other.
Mm-hmm.
We are madly in love, and talk about how will we make sure that we are kind and fair to each other in the worst case scenario.
Gosh, but most women don't like thinking about divorce. They don't want to go into a conversation saying, why are we going to talk about divorce? I don't want to get divorced too.
I don't want to think about getting into a car wreck. Do you still have car insurance?
100%.
Yeah.
But talking to a woman who's emotionally not thinking about getting a divorce, the emotions come out sometimes.
But I think there are things that people aren't realizing. Being in a relationship is so much more expensive for a woman than a man. Because more often than not, if you're the one having the child,
can't work for a while.
You can't work for a while. And that's not just the amount of time off or whatever that you lose out on that income. It's that what that income could have compounded over the course of your lifetime. And there are things like, oh, well, if I spend a decade of my life being the household CEO, I prefer that versus like a stay-at-home mom, because you really are the CEO of the house.
You are.
You are the chef, the chauffeur, you are the maid, you are the person who is the project manager, you are doing teacher, you're doing it all.
Yeah.
You really are doing it all. But if you're doing all of that unpaid labor, which by the way, the unpaid labor accounted for in a global society is in the trillions, we just don't really factor it in because most of the time it's done by women. And we don't value their time the same as we do men's. And so I would say having a prenup where you have already agreed that you will get a mom's salary so that you can have your own money. So even if you are a stay-at-home parent, you still have your own money because 99% of domestic violence cases include financial abuse.
Interesting.
It's important you have your own money that is in your bank account. Nobody else's name is on it. Maybe you want to ensure that you will have spousal support because you are giving up your career to perhaps move across the country to help support this person in their business. You want to make sure that your children are taken care of. You want to make sure that regardless of what happens, neither party should be left, destitute, and neither party should be left a robber baron, right? Like you are trying to come to an agreement that's fair.
Yes.
And that's really all it is. It's you want to be fair to your partner. Do you like your partner? Because if you like your partner, you're not trying to screw them over. And that's why we have this conversation and we do this process when you still like each other.
I think it's so important. Me and my wife, Martha, went through that. And I think I fell in love with her way more once we went through the whole process. One, we were very open about everything, but it forces you to fully share
you have to get financially naked.
Every bank's, that you have, anywhere you have money or any assets. And there were a few things that we just forgot to share with each other. It's not like we were hiding from each other. But it's like, we really had to document everything. It gave me more financial clarity. I was like, oh, I'm actually organizing my stuff because I have stuff everywhere. It helped me. It helped her. And then when we were able to look at things together, I was like, wow, you've actually made a lot of money. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I was like, I was impressed. I was like,
in particular,
amazing.
For your wife, who is a huge success, has a, huge business, has multiple streams of income, taking on the role of a household CEO, even just to make herself uncomfortable for 9 months. Let's be honest. Pregnancy, you're vomiting in the morning.
It's a lot.
You are twice the size that you normally are. She wasn't comfortable for 9 months.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to acknowledge the value and the cost of that.
100%.
Because that is a huge contribution to your family.
100%. My legacy, my love, everything. And it's not just 9 months and then you're back to normal.
No.
It's going to take months for her to recover and heal and all these different things. I mean,
people forget childbirth is also a surgical procedure.
It was scary. Yeah, it was scary. I mean,
did you pass out?
Nah, I was pretty good. I was in the zone. I was like athlete mode.
Okay. I'm going to ask her and get her opinion the next time I see her. No, it might be different.
I think she'll say I was good. I mean, it's crazy. I haven't talked about it yet, but she went to the ER twice within the last month after giving birth.
Yeah.
And it was scary. I mean, it was life or death scary. And she's now in a much better place and really recovering, but she still needs months of recovery.
Of course.
Where she's not able to go do normal working things, but it's a lot of women to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a 2-year journey. I'm not saying you can't work leading into pregnancy and being pregnant, you can still work, but it takes a lot more toll on your body, on your emotions, on your mindset. And I think we just have to be more aware of that with women. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, it is a lot. It's a lot on the guys too. I mean,
it is.
I've been in the hospital for the whole month trying to support her. It's like I'm away from work too, but it's even more so on her. So the thing that I'm interested in is generational wealth that we're talking about.
Yeah.
When someone who is broke hears this word generational wealth, it seems so far away. It seems so unrealistic. It seems like that's not for me. How could I even think that way? If someone's broke or struggling financially and they have the possibility in the future to create generational wealth, what do they need to start changing around in their mindset and their daily habits in order to set themselves up for that in the future?
Yeah, I think there can be a big woe is me attitude of if you're not born into generational wealth,
screwed or something.
You're so resentful. Yeah. But the thing that bothers me is that everybody wants to have generational wealth, but we hate seeing it in use.
Why is that? We're jealous of people.
We're
that
jealous.
Have it?
It's jealousy. It's just
we
envy.
want it, but we hate people that have it.
Exactly. But we want it ourselves. But
it's hard to get something that you hate in someone else.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
If you hate someone else having it, but you want it, it's hard for you to attract that.
Yes. But I think we need to reframe this around you may not have been born with generational wealth, but to have generational wealth, you might be the generation who has to make it.
Yes.
And I say this and I joke and I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm the one in the family tree who has to be the one who really plants the seeds.
Yes.
And I may not actually ever get to taste the fruit.
Gosh. But you're the one who started it. You're set up your family tree for generational wealth. Someone's got to be the one.
Someone has to do it. There is always, unfortunately, someone who has to be the one who makes the money. Because you can't just have inheritance. At some point up the tree,
someone did it.
They came from nothing to something.
They went on the skinny branches. They risked. They put their life on the line, their career on the line. They went broke multiple times to create that freedom for themselves.
Correct.
And they were willing to endure the pain like you've been willing to do.
Yeah.
They've worked harder. They got knowledge. They found a mentor. They maybe got a couple lucky breaks and they went hard on that luck.
Yeah. And you know what else? This is the craziest thing. Most generational wealth actually doesn't last past 3 generations.
Why? Because the knowledge doesn't pass?
So basically it's you've got the generation that makes the money, right? They work hard, something. Perhaps it's the next generation that saw their parents work really, really hard. So then they actually expand on the business. They're doing a really great job, but they've always lived a decently comfortable life.
Yeah. They didn't struggle like
They didn't struggle. And then the third generation, they see nothing but privilege. Yeah. They have never struggled. They also haven't had the knowledge of the struggle passed down. So like, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, watch out for this pitfall. Blah, blah, blah. Like, they've always lived life on easy street. And if you live life on easy street, it's very easy to get swindled.
Interesting.
So it's that the third generation typically is where things kind of fall apart.
So how do grandparents who create the generational wealth in the first place pass down the knowledge for the third, fourth, fifth generation to sustain it and grow it?
Well, one, I think it's passing down that knowledge, making financial literacy an important part of your family. Like, I have every intention of giving my kids an allowance and then taxing it. Be like, okay, your allowance is $10. Got to pay taxes this week. $2 back, give it back.
Wow.
And
so
then
they feel the pain.
They feel the pain. You don't want to just give them 8. You want to give them 10 and then make them give you 2 back.
That's interesting.
And put 2 into a jar. And that jar is the public goods jar. And maybe once that jar gets to a certain point, the whole family gets to go out for ice cream.
Wow.
Or the whole family gets to go do movie night. But it's a public good jar. It's not just you. So even if you're mad at your sister that day, we're going to get ice cream and she's getting one too. So you have to understand how public goods work. But also, it is about making so that there are guardrails. So you give them enough rope to climb. And I kind of like hate this metaphor, but like, you give them enough rope to climb, but you don't give them enough to hang themselves. It is about making sure that they are getting money and knowledge. But it's not enough to just say, all right, you're 18. Here's your trust fund.
No.
Because you know the trope, right? All of these deadbeat kids who spend all day on their couch. They know they don't have to work. They don't have to get a job. They don't have to make something of themselves. They have no ambitions because everything in their entire life has been handed to them on a silver platter.
Yeah.
I would hate for my kids to end up like that. So the thought is, if you have a trust, if you have a living will, if you have all of these estate planning documents set up in the right way, you can be very, very specific.
Yes.
And you can say, at age 18, you will get X amount of money specifically earmarked to be used for your education. Whether that's trade school, culinary school, going to college, whatever you want to be. If you don't use that money on these specific purposes, it goes back in the pot. Or maybe it gets donated to charity. Say my kid, I mean, I don't know if this would even be a realm of reality, but they turn into an amazing YouTuber at 17. They don't want to go to college. Fine. If you're making $1 million a year, I'm not going to force you to go to college.
Yeah.
But like, if that money doesn't go to them based on exactly how I've outlined, they're not getting it. Okay. But 21 rolls around. You're going to get a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Maybe to help you with your first apartment.
Yeah.
Or get you a car. Not a Maserati.
Yeah.
But like a Volvo.
Yeah.
Something safe.
A Honda Civic.
A Honda Civic.
Yeah.
A Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
And get them something practical. But that's not like some lemon that you got that has 150,000 miles on it. Because I don't want my kid driving around in a death trap.
Yeah.
And so you can earmark these things. Then it's like, okay, maybe when you turn 30, we will give you a little bit more. Or you will get a certain amount upon which you get married, but there needs to be a prenuptial agreement in place. You can literally dictate how you want your money to be used, because damn if I'm not going to have a say. I'm the one who made it.
Yeah.
I'm the generation who had to make it.
Absolutely.
So
you're not going to lose it.
You're not going to lose my money. And if you end up being a loser deadbeat, I'm going to have something called a skip generation. And all that money is just going to your kids. And if you don't have kids, it's going to a charity.
Wow.
And a lot of really, really smart business people actually have this in place. In that, I think there was this Japanese company where the grandfather who'd, built the company had a skip level generation where all of the money went to the grandkids, but all of the ownership in the business went to the parents.
Interesting.
So both the parents were incentivized to work hard, but the kids were also forced to learn the business of, the company.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's really creative ways that you can do this.
That's beautiful.
Make sure.
And that's all through the trust that you build, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many different types. And I really encourage people to talk to an estate planning attorney to see what actually makes sense for them.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy this and you want more inspirational content, make sure to click the subscribe button below and click right here to watch what's coming next.